I am freezing. I am shivering harder than Charlie Wrangle and IRS audit.
You can say that again. It is cold enough to freeze the nuts off my Prius.
You own a Prius? Why did you buy that expensive ugly piece of crap?
I am helping to save the world.
You mean you actually still believe in the anthropogenic global warming hoax?
You mean you do not believe in global warming?
No, I did not say that. Over the past 4.5 billion years, the Earth has obviously gone through many natural cycles of warming and cooling. I just do not believe in the anthropogenic hoax part of global warming.
How can you say that? Carbon dioxide levels are rising and global temperatures are rising too. Therefore, man-made carbon dioxide is destroying the planet.
That is faulty logic. Do you also believe that people holding umbrellas will cause it to rain?
No.
Well, that is the same logical construct. You are implying a causal relationship that does not exist.
No. There is a causal relationship. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gases trap heat, and that is why carbon dioxide is causing global warming.
Do you happen to know how little atmospheric carbon dioxide there is?
No.
There is only 390 parts per million, which is a minuscule amount. Moreover, 93% of annual carbon dioxide emissions are naturally released from soil and water, so only about 7% of total annual carbon dioxide is from man-made sources. Accordingly, even if man-made carbon dioxide emissions were cut to zero, it would only reduce the minuscule amount of total carbon dioxide levels by a paltry 7%, which does not mean squat.
Well, maybe carbon dioxide is a very strong greenhouse gas that does not take much to cause a greenhouse effect.
No, you ignorant slut. The greenhouse effect of carbon dioxide is very small. Atomic absorption spectroscopy shows that carbon dioxide can only absorb infrared radiation in the 15-micron frequency range, which means it only has a very weak greenhouse effect.
Oh. Then what is the major greenhouse gas?
Water vapor. Using the same atomic absorption spectroscopy, water vapor absorbs almost the entire infrared spectrum and is 30,000 parts per million, compared to CO2's paltry 390 parts per million. You do the math. Accordingly, carbon dioxide's contribution to global warming is insignificant. Moreover, CO2's greenhouse effect is logarithmic, meaning that higher concentrations have a decreasing greenhouse effect. Once CO2 levels exceed 540 parts per million, any additional CO2 has almost no effect whatsoever.
What about methane? I have heard scientists mention this greenhouse gas.
Well, remember when I told you that carbon dioxide is measured in parts per million?
Yes.
Well, methane concentrations are in parts per billion, with a B. Any scientist that even mentions methane as a consequential greenhouse gas should lose his tenure, and have you rolling on the floor laughing your frigging butt off. Methane gas causes farts, not global warming.
If carbon dioxide and methane do not have a significant greenhouse effect, then why are carbon dioxide levels rising in tandem with global temperatures?
That is a good question. The answer is outgassing.
What is outgassing? Is this another fart joke?
No. Outgassing is a chemical property of gases. Where more gas is released, the warmer a medium holding the gas becomes. Accordingly, the warmer the Earth gets, the more natural carbon dioxide is released from water and soil. Accordingly, rising carbon dioxide levels are an effect of natural global warming, not a cause.
But what about Al Gore's famous hockey stick graph showing global temperatures were basically constant for 1,000 years, and did not start increasing until petrochemicals were widely used from the 1930s?
Al Gore should stick that hockey stick where the sun don't shine. That stupid graph is as much of a fraud as Al Gore is. A scientist named Dr. Michael Mann fabricated that scam by leaving off two huge climatic cycles called the medieval warming period in the 11th century and the Little Ice Age, which lasted from 1350 to 1850.
How do you know he did that?
A Canadian statistician named Stephen McIntyre got Mann's raw data after going through years of Freedom of Information requests. After an intricate review, he proved that Dr. Mann had purposefully cherry-picked, modified, skewed, edited and manipulated the raw data to make the graph look like a hockey stick. McIntyre later published his findings in a 2003 scientific peer review paper.
Manipulating test data is the absolute worst thing a scientist can do. Why did he do that?
Well, if you remove the two big climatic changes and smooth out all the data between 1000 and 1930, it makes the graph look downright sinister, and that was the goal of the graph.
Oh. Man is a real jerk.
Yes, you could call him the man behind the myth. The hockey stick has been busted to smithereens. It's become a bad joke, even among the global warming hoaxers.
Well, what about ice core analysis? I thought this pretty much proved that carbon dioxide is causing global warming.
No, ironically it proves just the opposite. Ice core studies prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that rising carbon dioxide is a lagging effect of global warming, and definitely not a cause of global warming.
How does the data prove that?
Well, ancient ice core analysis conclusively shows that when the new natural global warming cycle first starts, carbon dioxide levels are still falling, and when the new global cooling cycle starts, carbon dioxide levels are still rising.
Oh. So ice cores actually disprove anthropogenic global warming, doesn't it?
Yes, you are starting to understand the extent of the terrible hoax.
Yeah, I am starting to see what you are saying. But should we not try to cut carbon dioxide levels? The EPA says carbon dioxide is a poisonous gas, right?
Wrong again. Carbon dioxide is actually an essential plant food. It would be better if carbon dioxide actually rose substantially from current levels.
Why do you say that?
Carbon dioxide and water are the two essential compounds needed for photosynthesis. Scientific evidence shows that higher concentrations of carbon dioxide create higher crop yields and increased forest growth. Ironically, rising carbon dioxide levels have actually helped save millions from starvation. Rising carbon dioxide levels are a good thing, not a bad thing. Ironically, if CO2 levels fall below 180 parts per million, all life on Earth would go extinct. Back in 1820, we got to as low as 280 parts per million, which was almost an extinction event. If CO2 levels had dropped just another 100 parts per million, virtually all life would have died on Earth.
But is not carbon dioxide dangerous at high concentrations?
At about 30,000 parts per million you may feel lightheaded, but do you remember what current carbon dioxide levels are, right?
Yes, about 390 parts per million, right?
Correctamundo. Girl, you are starting to get it. Carbon dioxide levels would need to increase 10,000% to reach dangerous levels. For hundreds of millions of years, CO2 levels exceeded 3,000 parts per million, and life on land and sea flourished. We have to worry about low CO2 levels, not high ones.
Well, if carbon dioxide levels are not causing global warming, what is?
I will give you a hint. What is the hottest object in our solar system?
Brad Pitt.
No, I am talking celestial, not terrestrial. Try again.
The sun?
Yep, and what else?
Water vapor, right?
You go girl, right again. Actually, without water vapor's greenhouse gas effect, it would be about 14 degrees colder than it is. Do you think that man can control the sun or water evaporation?
No.
There are quite a few other factors that cause Earth's climate to change, such as galactic cosmic rays, which affect cloud formation. The more cosmic rays that hit Earth, the more clouds are formed, and clouds have a net cooling effect. When solar activity decreases, solar winds also decrease, which enables more galactic cosmic rays to hit Earth, which increases cloud cover, which reflect more solar radiation out into space and cools the Earth. The opposite happens when there are strong solar cycles, which block cosmic rays, causing fewer clouds to develop, which increases solar radiation hitting Earth, which increases global temperatures. This is called the smog effect. By the way, did you know that the strongest string of solar cycles in 10,400 years took place between 1930 and 1998?
You're kidding me.
No. I'm serious. Dr. Solanki of the Max Planck Institute proved this. This abnormally high 70-year solar cycle activity perfectly explains the 20th century warming we experienced, not stupid CO2.
Crap. What are some other factors?
Well, there is volcanism, shifting ocean currents and jet streams, Milankovitch cycles, albedo flux, tectonics, airborne particulates, El Niño, La Nina, and all the interactions of these and other factors that contribute to global climate changes. Again, CO2 is inconsequential.
What are the motivations for the global warming hoax?
There are many reasons. Governments want trillions of dollars in carbon taxes. Scientists want millions in global warming research grants. Security companies want trillions in carbon trading profits, and the UN wants trillions for global wealth redistribution schemes. Governments also want to control and regulate energy in order to wield tremendous power over industries and its citizens. In short, it's all about money, control, corruption, and power. You know the old saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Some things never change.
It is very depressing that so much money and resources are being wasted for no reason.
Yes, it is the biggest hoax in human history. The Piltdown Man hoax took 40 years before scientists found out it was based on the jawbone of an ape. I hope it does not take 40 years to find out the global warming hoax was based on the jawbones of a bunch of asses. I am freezing. I am shivering harder than Charlie Wrangle and IRS audit.
You can say that again. It is cold enough to freeze the nuts off my Prius.
You own a Prius? Why did you buy that expensive ugly piece of crap?
I am helping to saving the planet.
That is faulty logic. Do you also believe that people holding umbrellas will cause it to rain?
No.
Well, that is the same logical construct. You are implying a causal relationship that does not exist.
No. There is a causal relationship. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gases trap heat, and that is why carbon dioxide is causing global warming.
Do you happen to know how little atmospheric carbon dioxide there is?
No.
There is
the world?
You mean you actually still believe in the anthropogenic global warming hoax?
You mean you do not believe in global warming?
No, I did not say that. Over the past 4.5 billion years, the Earth has obviously gone through many natural cycles of warming and cooling. I just do not believe in the anthropogenic hoax part of global warming.
How can you say that? Carbon dioxide levels are rising and global temperatures are rising too. Therefore, man-made carbon dioxide is destroying